right there. And I am going to talk about these football games today, y'all. This was an interesting Sunday. The Jets won a game. That's how interesting this Sunday was. And ask me who the Jets won a game against. The damn Rams. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like this Sunday was a dope Sunday. Thank you again for joining me. I'm Ashley Baker. Thanks to Haps for allowing me the platform to come on here and talk my sports talk to y'all. I have a really good guest that's going to join me in a few minutes to talk about the game we just saw with the Chiefs and the Saints. I'm super excited to see this guy, to talk to this guy, but I want to start talking about a couple of games that we saw first. I actually want to talk about the Dallas game. Yeah, that's right. I'm starting with the Cowboys. 2-game winning streak, beat the San Francisco 49ers, put up 40 points. And what do you know? All of a sudden, Dallas has life. Hey, Brian from Baltimore. We'll see. Dallas has life. Defense created 3 turnovers today. They still allowed too much back and forth with the 49ers, with, Mullins as the quarterback, no George Kittle, no Jimmy G. And, Dallas, in typical Dallas fashion, until the end there, made it a little difficult. But with the 2-game winning streak that Dallas has, with the Washington football team dropping their game today, with the Philadelphia Eagles losing to the Cardinals, all eyes in the NFC East are on the Giants tonight for sure. I said a couple of weeks ago that I thought that the Giants were going to run away with this game, straight up. And the Giants were going to run away with the division, straight up. They were looking really good. I think they dropped a game or two in the last couple of weeks. They play the Browns tonight on Sunday Night Football, so that's going to be exciting. But, per usual, this crazy NFC East is going to continue being crazy until the very last game, likely. They are going to it's going to go up and down. Dallas is the last team in the division that I expected to be kind of on some type of winning streak this late in the season. But, we'll see. Whatever. Listen, as you can see, I'm trying not to get too excited. There he is. Mark Ganos is in the building.
What's up?
Hey. Can you hear me? Good. Thank you for joining us. What's going on? You look like a happy camper.
Actually, I'm not as happy, to be honest with you, but we'll get to that.
We're going to get into that. I was talking to everybody. Hey, Caillou, Borden. I was talking to everybody about the Dallas and San Francisco game. Talking about how I didn't expect Dallas, of all teams, to go into some type of winning streak at this point of the season. And unfortunately, they've created some type of buzz, especially if the Browns beat the Giants tonight in the NFC East. Again, it's going to be Dallas has a chance. The division is up for grabs. What do you make of the NFC East? Talk to me.
I mean, they do have a chance. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's just the reality of the situation. They're only a game behind the Washington football team. But the thing is, though, they do own the tiebreaker because they swept Dallas this year, if I'm not mistaken. So Dallas will have to have a better record than them, which still is probably unlikely because that means they'll have to lose their last 2 games, and Dallas will have to win out. So it's still not likely to happen, but you do have a chance.
I'd rather not have a chance. I really don't like the pressure, man, because then it makes me like, oh my God, there's hope winning the division just for us to get our heads smacked in the first round of the playoffs.
Who does Washington play their last 2 games, though? Can you pull up the schedule real quick? I'm really curious.
Yeah, I will.
I want to see who you guys play. I want to see how realistic it is.
Let me see. I don't know. I mean, I feel like, so they play the Panthers and then they play the Eagles.
Those are both kind of 50-50 games.
Exactly. You just don't know.
They should beat the Panthers, though, but the Panthers, they're weird. They'll have a game where they compete. You don't expect them to. So,
and I would go for that as well, that they may have a chance, but it has to be with Alex Smith. Now, don't let
Yeah.
Dwayne Haskins played a great game the second half. I think Dwayne Haskins played a really good game the second half of this game. They fought, they tried to come back. I didn't think that the Seahawks were lose to Washington bad. I didn't think that they were going to lose that game. But the Washington football team made it interesting at the end. Dwayne Haskins made smart decisions. He did have 2 costly turnovers, yes, but we've seen him look worse. So I think that he is trying to take his responsibility very serious being a quarterback for this team because, he wants some time eventually to be a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he was thirsty for an opportunity. You could tell he got a chance to get in there. He was like, okay, I got to seize this opportunity because he might not get another one with Washington, at least. I mean, they pretty much have told you how they felt about him throughout the year, that you're not the guy. I mean, they even started who's the other quarterback they got there? What's his name? I'm drawing a blank right now. Not Alex Smith, the other guy. Gosh, what's his name?
Oh man, I'm drawing a blank too because they have.
Blank, but I know who he is. I'm picturing.
Yeah. I'll let me try to Google it real quick. But I know what you're talking about, and I feel like Facebook. That's my playback. I'm trying to pull up Facebook, y'all, so I can see the
Kyle Allen. That's Facebook. Kyle Allen. Yeah, that's
Kyle Allen. Yes, because. Yes, Kyle Allen.
Thank
but
you,
did he get hurt? He got hurt earlier this year, didn't he?
Yeah, he got hurt too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had like a leg injury as well. So, yeah, hopefully, Dwayne can get it together. If not, I don't know. I can't call it for that Carolina game. Like you said, sometimes Carolina want to show up, sometimes they don't. So we'll see. And we'll see. I think the Browns are going to pull out the win tonight over the Giants, which, like I said, it's going to make it really interesting. Unfortunately, very interesting in the NFC East, man. I'm not excited about it. So let's move on to your favorite team. Let's talk about your favorite team real quick. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers pulled off the win against the Atlanta Falcons.
Wow, you really got me on that. I thought you were about to talk Chiefs.
We got to talk about that before we go to the Chiefs real quick. Tampa Bay down 17 at one point in the game. And in classic Falcons fashion, I stopped watching the game. You and I were texting. And I stopped watching the game. I figured it was over. You kind of saw me having the meltdown through the text messages.
You should know it's never over when Atlanta has a lead. Come on now.
That's true. Do you see, even after coming back, winning that game against their rival, division rival, do you see the Bucs having any chance, any shot at least the NFC Championship?
Yeah, I give them a shot. I do. I really do. I mean, I know I give you crap and stuff because it's just funny because you're the biggest Tom Brady defender. Like, you'll blame anybody else besides Tom Brady. You'll name 100 people before you get to Tom Brady. You're like, okay, yeah, Tom Brady deserves a little bit of blame too. But the other 100 people deserve more blame than Tom Brady. So I give you crap for that. But no, I mean, when they play at their best, they're one of the best teams in the NFC. But the thing is, they don't play at that level consistently. They'll have one quarter where they look awful. You'll think this is one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Then second half, they were sacking Matt Ryan left and right, looking like a top 5 defense. I'm like, where was that in the first half? So it's just a big roller coaster with this team. And in the playoffs, it only takes one game. So if they get clicking for a game or two, they can advance. But do you have faith in them playing at that level consistently, though? And it's just hard for me to trust that.
It's been, like you said, a roller coaster ride. Like I talked about earlier, man, I've had 20 years, almost 20 years of success with Tom Brady, man. So when I see it, it's heading down. He is definitely hitting or going over the cliff. Like some analysts have said, it's happening. I said it. Okay. Is everybody happy? I said it. It's happening. I can see it. I see the regression. I see Father Time. He catching up. But when you see him put on a performance like he did in the second half, I kind of be like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I feel like that he can, keep it going and keep it going. But sustaining that throughout the playoffs, you're right, Mark. I'm not sure.
Especially considering, also we have to consider this. Throughout Tom Brady's epic run in New England, most of those times, well, pretty much every time he went to the Super Bowl, they had a bye in the first round. They had home field advantage. That would not be the case this year in the NFC. They're going to have to go on the road and win games without a bye.
And I think that those years, it was not that many, but the years that he didn't have a bye, they didn't do well. They didn't do well.
No, like those are years like he lost to like Denver, Baltimore.
Yep. When he had to go on the road and there wasn't like home field advantage in New England, you're right. He didn't do well. That's cool. That's what it is. What it is. Can we call this Hot Take Central? The Hot Take Kingdom is secure today. That's Mike Patton. Shout out to Mike Patton. Yeah. I don't know, man. I really hope that they're running out of time. They're running out of time to impress me. I'm not impressed with the win over the Falcons. I mean, I was irritated, but like I told you earlier, I'm just not impressed. I mean, it's the Falcons. We're not going to act like they should have never been down 17 points to begin with. So that's my concern. And their defense is horrible. Their defense is not where I thought that it would be at all.
Nah, I mean, it's crazy because at one point they looked like a top 10 defense at one point earlier in the year. But especially after that Green Bay game where they made Aaron Rodgers look like he never played the game of football.
That was the last time they played amazing.
I know, but I mean, they have flashes though. Like they'll have flashes. Like they'll look good for a half, really good for a quarter, maybe a game or two. But for the most part, yeah, the defense hasn't shown up. But I mean, look at the Chiefs game. Even the Chiefs scored 17 points in their first quarter, but after that, they pretty much held the Chiefs down. But it's just the consistency throughout a 4-quarter game. They haven't put a full game together.
And speaking of the Chiefs, let's go ahead and go there. This is Mr. Kansas City himself, y'all. Y'all don't understand the back and forth that I have with this man about his Chiefs, about his Patrick Mahomes boy, about his tight end, his wide receivers, his running backs. Oh, man, who's MVP? Who's not MVP? Oh, man, the back and forth. And I was really excited about this Saints game up until I saw that Michael Thomas wasn't going to be playing. When they announced Drew Brees was going to play, I just knew that this was going to be a high-scoring shootout kind of game. But then they called Michael Thomas out, putting on IR for the next 3 weeks so they can preserve him because he's dealing with an injury. So they can preserve him for the playoffs. And then I kind of knew, I'm not sure how this game is going to go. This guy, he act like he knew for real, y'all. He wasn't sure. If Michael Thomas had played, Mark would have gave a little bit of pushback. I'm trying to tell y'all. So anyway, Chiefs win. They pull out the win. This was a Super Bowl preview, guys. Possibly, we don't know. So what's your takeaways from the game?
It's funny. The final score actually, if you didn't watch the game, you would think it actually was a shootout. 32-29. That's pretty high scoring. But the Chiefs, it happens every week, and it's so frustrating because they'll get up big, then the game ends up being closer than what it really was. So if you didn't watch the game, you just see the score. You're like, oh, the Chiefs only won by 3. But that game was not a 3-point game. The Chiefs should have won that game by double digits. But for some reason, it's always a weird play that happens. Then the team gets back into it. They get false hope. But nobody ever thought the Chiefs were going to lose the game. Like, I was never scared at all at any point. But it's really hurts to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire go down, man. That hurts. That was a really tough injury to watch. I don't want to speculate, but it looks bad. And that'll be a big loss for the Chiefs because he's obviously their best running back. I know they got Le'Veon Bell, but Le'Veon Bell does not run as hard as Helaire right now at this point in his career. Helaire got them young legs. He's tough. He has explosion and burst. Bell looks slow, man. Like
he got hurt at the end of the game, didn't he? Is he okay? But I thought he was shaking.
Bill's fine. He's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's still a good running back. I mean, that's a great insurance running back to have as your backup, Le'Veon Bell. So if any team could sustain their top running back going down, it's probably the Chiefs. But he's definitely not the player that Helaire is at this point in his career. But they can still survive with Le'Veon Bell, though.
Yeah. So what you think the Saints look like? Do you think – I know that – I mean, and it made sense. I saw a lot of people talking about how, they really don't want to continue to lose games. They want to try to clinch that number 1 seed in the NFC, get that first round bye. Nobody certainly wants to travel to Lambeau without, just at all. You don't want to go up to Lambeau, crowd or not. It's cold. You're a dome team. You don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. How do you see them finishing out the season? Do you think that maybe the Packers will drop their last 2 and it'll happen, or do you feel like that things will kind of stay where they are with the Packers being the number 1 seed?
Nah, it's a wrap. It's locked up now. The Packers are going to be the 1 seed. Their last 2 games are against the Titans and the Bears. I think they'll win both of those games. Even if they lose one of those games, they'll still be the 1 seed because they own the tiebreaker over the Saints because they beat them head-to-head. So with this loss today and the Packers winning yesterday, it pretty much, for all intents and purposes, locked up the 1 seed. The Saints will be the 2 seed, though. So obviously there's no bye of the 2 seed this year. But they'll have a home game. And I do think we're going to see that NFC Championship game, Saints-Packers. But like you said, in Lambeau, which is a big deal because you already kind of alluded to this. Even though there's no fans, home field between those 2 teams couldn't be any bigger because you got, like you said, 1 team that plays in a dome, and you got 1 team playing in Lambeau in January, which would be like 10 degrees outside. So I think that's a huge advantage for Green Bay.
Yeah, so Kyle, you said Packers number 1 seed in the NFC, Chiefs and Packers Super Bowl would be great. And, I think that if that Super Bowl was to happen, I'm still calling for Tampa Bay to somehow, some way make it there. But if it is a Green Bay, Kansas City Super Bowl, this is going to kind of be what me and you have been fussing and arguing about for a lot of this season. This MVP conversation between Mr. Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. And so that would be dope. And nobody, I said this to you before, and I said it in my Let Me Just Say This video. There's no real threat to the Chiefs in the AFC. Buffalo do look good. I'm not even going to lie. Buffalo look good. The Titans are scary. And we're not talking about the Colts like we should. We should be talking about how scary the Colts look. The Colts are playing good ball. Hypothetically speaking, if there was 1 team that knocked the Chiefs off before they get to the championship, the Super Bowl, if there was 1 team that knocked the Chiefs off in the AFC Championship, what team could you see it being?
I actually think the Colts were the biggest threat to the Chiefs, just based on matchup. The Titans are a close second with the Bills right there in the mix as well. But I just believe with the Colts defense, they have a top 5, top 3 defense in the league. Their offense is good enough. They can run the ball. They can control clock. And they have a quarterback in Phillip Rivers who is very, very accustomed to playing this Chiefs defense. As you know, he played in the same division as the Chiefs all his career up until this year. So he's very familiar with going against the Chiefs. So, it just depends on what Rivers you get, though, because he might throw 2 or 3 picks, or he might play clean football. And if he plays clean football with that defense, making things tough, I think they're the toughest matchup for the Chiefs. But I think the Chiefs are going to go to the Super Bowl regardless. But I would say the Colts if I have to pick somebody.
Brian Edgewater, shout out to Brian in the comments talking about those darn Ravens. Ravens don't get fooled by week 3.
Stop it. The Ravens are no threat to the Chiefs at all. Come on. The Ravens, I will say, they're playing good football now. They're getting healthy at the right time. They're probably going to finish 11-5 because their schedule is weak the last 2 games of the season. But as far as matchups, we've seen this matchup plenty of times over the past couple of years. It's just not a good matchup for Baltimore. It's just not.
Brian, it's just not a good matchup for Baltimore. It's just not. I'm just sorry.
Yeah, we just seen it too many times. The Ravens are one of the most blitz-heavy teams in the league. That's one thing you do not do against Patrick Mahomes is blitz. And they play man-to-man a lot.
Too much out there. You leaving too much out there when you do that. That's true. Sorry, Brian H. Waters. I I'm not mentioning the Ravens for a reason, because there are other teams that I feel like are, that would give the Chiefs some go. But I agree with you.
And the Ravens got to make the playoffs first. If the season started today, they're not even in the playoffs. Make the playoffs first.
Yep. Because you got the Browns sitting at one of the, well, I don't know. I got to see. I thought there was some stuff that needed to happen. I thought that who needed to lose?
The playoffs started today. The Ravens are not in the playoffs.
But are the Browns in?
They're still behind Miami, and they're still behind Miami and who else?
Cleveland, somebody right?
Else. Well, no, Cleveland's kind of up there. It's somebody else below Cleveland. I think it's the Colts, actually.
Nah, the Colts ain't leading their division. What division?
No, the Titans are. I think the Titans.
They are in the same division. All right, let's look at this schedule real quick before we get out of here. Let me see. Let's see. So, right, Buffalo. The Dolphins are at 9-5. Right. So, what is it? It's 2 wild cards coming out now, right?
Yeah. So the top 7 teams. Yep.
So it would be. Gosh, if the Browns lose, it would be, let's just say the season of the day, it would be Miami and the Colts.
Yeah, so make the playoffs first, Brian. Make the playoffs.
Look, Browns lose 1 game to the Steelers and we're in. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Giants, Browns tonight. Who you got winning?
I got the Browns. I just think after that tough loss on Monday night against the Ravens, it was kind of I don't believe in moral victories, but I think that was kind of a moral victory for Cleveland. Just the fact you're playing on a big stage. Browns don't typically play in big games this late in the year. That was a classic. I mean, it could have went either way. They probably just scored too fast. I said that when they scored that last touchdown. They left way too much time on the clock for the Ravens to go down and kick a game-winning field goal, and that ended up happening. I think they're going to be locked in tonight. No Daniel Jones. Colt McCoy's in for the Giants. I like the Browns to get the job done today.
Okay. And Brian just pointed out, you're right, it is 3 wild card teams. Sorry about that. 4 division winners, 3 wild cards, 7 teams. But it wouldn't be the Ravens. It would still be the Browns.
They're still not in, Brian.
They're still not in. Calm down. They're still not in, bro.
I mean, they probably will get. They probably will get in, but I'm saying as of right now, the Ravens are not in the playoffs.
I don't know. I gotta see what the Browns have a winnable schedule. The Browns can win out. I'm standing by that. So I don't know. I got the Browns winning tonight as well. Although, for the sake of my sanity, I'm hoping that the Giants win. So we'll see. I know that's a division rival. As a Dallas fan, sorry.
You just don't want to have any false hope.
Oh, you don't understand. Like y'all know that how I am with Dallas, and you give me an inch and I'm gonna take a mile, and I'm done running. This year I am done running. I don't want to run no more miles. I've got my steps in with the Dallas Cowboys. Let it be over. Let the Washington football team or the Giants take the division, and let us get into the mode for next year. Because this is what I don't want to happen. What I don't want is for somehow, some way they make the playoffs without Dak. And that starts to mess up his money. That's all it takes for that front office in Dallas is to think that we don't need anybody can do it. We put anybody with this team and they can do it. And then they ain't gonna pay my man his money. See, you don't want to, no, I don't want that.
I see Brian talking about they own the tiebreaker over the Browns and Colts. They just need them to lose 1 game. The Steelers are going to beat the Browns. How can you be that confident in the Steelers winning any game right now? Like, I don't know how you can be that confident that they're going to beat the Browns.
Yeah, we're not going to act like that. Right? The
Steelers have been exposed.
Yeah, it's all good. Look. The game is on now, so thank you for joining me, Mark. I'm going to holler at you. Thank everybody for, joining in. Brian is going to argue us down about these Ravens. Love you, bro, but get into the playoffs. Listen, how you talking about the club and you can't even get in? You're not even there yet. That's all I'm saying. So thanks again. Look.
Hey, Ash, let me say this real quick. This is the most civil conversation we ever had. We actually agreed a lot.
Yeah, don't get excited about that. That's not going to be something that's regular. I told you that I felt like today that I was going to be I was going to have to just admit some stuff today. And it really was bothering me at the beginning, you know, about 1:30, 2 o'clock. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to admit some stuff that it's going to hurt me to admit, but whatever, I got to do it. So, really quick, NBA season starts. First of all, my birthday is tomorrow, December 21st. Woo, woo. Birthday is tomorrow. That's the first thing. Hey, Sagittarius time. Let's go. And then the NBA season starts on the 22nd. So I saw your top 8 seeds and the dang, I'm having a blank in the East and the West. I saw your top 8. We're gonna have a discussion about that. I might have to get you on later this week, and probably a couple other people's. I think I might get maybe three or four of us on here to have that kind of conversation, because I don't know about your teams, yo. I'm not feeling your teams, Mark. So
I'm confident. I love my teams. I love my teams.
Nah. I think I'm gonna have to hop on here later this week. But EBA season starts the 22nd. I'm super excited. So thank y'all for tuning in. Thanks again, Mark, for joining me. And let's go enjoy this Sunday night game. Everybody that's in the comments, appreciate y'all. Mark, I'm gonna holler at you, okay?
Let's get it. We are.
All right. Thanks.